You know, every year I think we need a nice sleazy ass flick to soil ourselves into. And this film, based on one of the novels from the creator of Trainspotting, Irvine, Welsh, digs us into plenty of filth. Detective Sergeant Bruce Robertson is a scheming, manipulative, misanthropic man who spends his time indulging in drugs, alcohol, sexually abusive relationships, and the games. Cruel plots and systematic bullying of his co-workers and friends for either his own amusement or to improve his odds at a promotion. While working on the murder case of a Japanese student, he starts becoming unhinged, slowly losing his grip on reality and suffering from a series of increasingly severe hallucinations as he desperately tries to hold his life together. So Filth is a nice little Scottish import film from writer-director John S. Baird based on Irvine Welsh's novel that got released overseas in Scotland and the UK last year, but it didn't hit American cinemas till this year. And here at the latter end of 2014, trying to expand my horizons and spectrum of films I've been exposed to this year. Lo and behold, I go on Netflix, see a film that kind of caught my eye from a couple of reviews that I heard earlier in the year. So I go ahead and check everything out. I watch this film and it's like, this is exactly the type of film, like I said, I'd like to see every single year. Because last year we had The Wolf of Wall Street, which is completely sleaze and sex and drugs and all the kind of debauchery and whatnot. This is exactly that type of film, but going way fucking all the way elbow deep into the dirt and everything. This is amazingly fantastic, entertaining, and surprising film too. There is so much very good stuff here based on the work of the director, the whole cast. Everything at play here is executed and displayed in such magnificent, marvelous artistry and amazing talent on display, especially from lead actor James McAvoy, who probably puts in a performance of a lifetime so far, but I'm sure he has a very long career ahead of him to do a whole lot of other amazing work too. But this is definitely a great benchmark type of performance from him because he is so on in this film. He is so completely into this role of Bruce Robertson. And he is a salaciously charismatic and sharp-witted character who's always fucking with people, or his friends, or colleagues, or whoever the hell it is. He is always manipulating people, undermining people, screwing with people all the way through this film, for whatever means, to whatever ends that he wants. He has no qualms or morals to get in the way of anything he chooses to do here, and that makes for an immensely entertaining character. And McAvoy is such a bombastic, intense, fucking right on the razor's edge of this fucking character. He is so fucking amazing in this film that he's just so sharp, just completely sharp with everything he does. All the humor is right dead on the fucking nail. This guy turns as this great sort of hilarious turn on a dime duality in this film where it works into all the sort of backstabbing and manipulation that he's doing, that he'll go off and do something behind someone's back to fuck them over and then come right back up in front of them and kind of play the good guy in the whole thing. So because he's vying for this promotion for the whole department or whatnot, so he's always playing all these games trying to kind of make everyone else look worse than he is. And obviously there's just an amazing character and a greatly entertaining and funny as hell movie. But it's not just a movie of one character, but McAvoy is also just so great in the dramatic beats of this film because it does ride a wild fucking ride of comedy in this film. But there are some, it really takes all this excess, this fucking hard fucking drugs and sex and all this stuff that he just completely soaked in, and you just continue to see how far this guy just going right in the gutter throughout this whole film. At a certain point in this film, he just looks fucking awful. But it just, you can see the cracks in this guy, the dramatic qualities of the film really begin to break out in like closer to the final third of the film, where where the stuff is just taking its toll, and he's beginning to have those cracks in his psyche and everything, because this is very much a film that is getting you real into the psyche of this character. That he is fucking whacked out of his brain sometimes, especially in these scenes where you see the wild fucking Jim Broadbent character doctor that Robertson's real life and everything is his actual doctor, which you see early on, but in his whacked out fucking hallucinatory scenes, Broadbent is playing this fucking out of control, over the top, whacked out type of doctor and whatnot. It is completely crazy. This movie is so crazy with everything it does. But McAvoy is such an amazing fucking actor. In those dramatic scenes, you see the deep down emotional turmoil in this character, that this guy just, he's shaking apart at the seams and everything, man. He is just this character that, yeah, he goes on this wild ride that's just snorting cocaine and every fucking thing he can get his hands on, alcohol and sex, the dirtiest sex, everything possible. He's going on this completely just binge-induced ride for very good reasons, too. You get to understand why he's kind of delved into being this type of person, because his problems with his family and his marriage breaking up and stuff like that. So his character does have a lot of purpose to being what he is, that you end up seeing as the character deteriorates and goes further into a more darker, dramatic type of place, but it never loses its wit. It's such a film that just has such a dark, salacious wit to it, that it just maintains that great balance, that it can be so hilariously funny, but just hit all the emotional, dramatic, fucking awesome beats in this film magnificently, and keeps such a great wit about itself that it always remains clever and sharp and smart all the way through. And like I said, it's not just a film of one performance. Everyone in this film, every cast member, is so right, completely on the peak of their talents here. They're just right on the money with everything that they're doing. All the characters are so magnificently well written, with such sharp, smart dialogue, and performed so fucking fantastically too. Jamie Bell, Jim Broadbent, Imogen, Poots, everyone just comes out and just makes their characters stand out so vibrantly too. It's a very interesting type of film to look at, that never becomes boring at any point to look at, to watch, to be entertained by. It's always got something going on. This film is not gonna let up. This film just keeps going at a very sharp pace. You gotta keep up with this film. It's not a film where you can just kind of lay back and be distracted watching. You have to be really right on the money watching Filth, because it just moves so fast with such good, quick-witted dialogue. And there is a lot of somewhat thick Scottish accent, so you really have to be really in tune with the film if you're like me, who has a little trouble with the thicker accents. But this is a film that really just entertains you all the way through, with all the subject matter that it has these characters going on this very interesting ride, that you're engaged with this character right from the beginning, even though he's the complete piece of crap. He's the guy who has no redeeming qualities really about him, because, like I said, he's always manipulating people, he's always backstabbing people. There's one thing in the film where he is making filthy phone calls to the wife of his best friend, and then he gets put on the case of finding out who's making all these prank calls. So there's this guy who's playing a whole bunch of dualities in this whole film, that obviously, as they kind of weave and intermingle and kind of throw back on himself, really start to kind of cave in on him at a certain point, of course. But the ride this film takes you on, it's just a fantastically funny thing. This film just entertained the living shit out of me. I thought everything this film had to offer, from every single cast member, was absolutely fantastic. And like I said, it gets fucking sleazy, man. This film just never lets up on it, that it is not politically correct in any remotely imaginable type of way. This film is just going right down into every little thing that you could possibly imagine. Everything, just everything. There's a scene in the film that's absolutely fucking hilarious too, where there's because the film is centered around the Christmas time, so there's Christmas parties and gatherings like that, and there's Christmas lights and trees everywhere and everything. And there's this one sort of Christmas party scene where one of the ladies is trying to get photocopies every gentleman's genitalia, and Robertson keeps punching the enlarge button to make his cock look bigger, and it's great payoff to these things. That just this film just has no boundaries whatsoever what's going for, but it also just it holds itself up very strongly on good characters. That, like I said, it builds a three-dimensional character with Bruce Robertson that McAvoy has no problem whatsoever of completely filling up, right, bursting out of the seams and everything. Just fantastic stuff. It's so well written. Obviously, Irvine Welsh's source material obviously must have been so damn good to deliver a film that is this damn good. I could go on and on about this film, but one of the things that really just knocks me out of the park is the soundtrack of this film is just so damn good. The music that they use is just so kind of slightly kitschy, but it's also so kind of like funky and just it's great stuff. I just fell in love with a lot of the songs in this film, just like cover songs of songs I've heard before, but these versions just like hit it right on the money for me. There's so much great stuff, and there's, like I said, hallucinatory stuff where people start singing in a taxi cab and whatnot, where David's soul is singing a song. This film just goes whacked out of its brain, doing some great stuff all the way through, entertaining like living hell, but also delivering the dramatic underbelly that it needs to, the dramatic undertones that it has to prop it up on such a great, strong, substantive level to give these characters a reason for being. All these characters have dimension, they have purpose, they're all well fleshed out, they all feel like their own solid, strong characters. Like I said, it's not just a film of one character or one performance. Everything is so wonderfully three-dimensional in this film. It is a fantastic film that is just greatly entertaining all the way through. And I could go try to dig out little bits and pieces of the film that I found funny, but you know what? Go into this film as surprised as you possibly can, because it'll just entertain the shit out of you if you love sleazy ass fucking movies. Just stuff that just goes right into it, has no care for political correctness, just going right into the dirty, sleazy fucking sex and the drug addiction and all this kind of stuff that does hit hard. It does show this character going on a great, fascinating journey in a certain way that is just wrought with fucking turmoil and distress and just fucking hangovers and just all this crazy fucking shit. Just words escape me right now. Just a film that you go see, that if you watch the trailer you know exactly what you're getting into, and there's 10 times more stuff that's funnier than anything else in the trailer. It's a great fucking movie. I thought it was a fun flick that just delivered everything, and McAvoy just one of the best performances I have seen this year. I just think this is a great film. Definitely go see it if you like sleazy flicks. Filth really just hit it on the money for me. So like I said, I love to see more films made like this. So if people are really catching on, thinking these types of films are really hitting it off, hitting the comedy right on the right money, where they better be controversial, because if they're not controversial, they're not doing it right. So definitely check this film out if you like that type of film. And obviously McAvoy also was in X-Men Days of Future Past, which is very, 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 very high on my best films of the year list. And even though this was released last year in other countries, since I couldn't have possibly have seen it until this year, it'll make my best movies of 2014 on that technicality. So it is definitely in there, and I'll definitely be getting that video to you as soon as I see another film or two or something like that. Just a few other things. I'm definitely going to see The Gambler, which is a remake of a James Caan film from, I believe, 1974, which I might end up finishing watching on Netflix. And like I said, Filth is on Netflix. You can watch the original version of The Gambler on Netflix before going to see the Mark Wahlberg version and run around in circles. But anyway, guys, like this review, hit your thumbs up and all that kind of stuff. And this was a film, like I said, another little kind of twisted Christmas tale. All takes place around Christmas with all this. It was so vibrant in that type of way with the Christmas atmosphere. Again, juxtaposed against a lot of dark, sleazy, grimy type of shit that is just absolutely perfect for this type of film. This type of subject matter, perfect. So that's all I got to say at this point in time. Maybe I have a little bit more to say in the best movies of 2014 video that'll come up in a couple weeks. So catch you guys later. If you want more people to get interested in this film, definitely share the video around, and so on and so forth. So take care. Bye bye.